Hello again guys, a couple of days ago a company called Viivant sent me an email and asked if I was interested in taking a look at a slim power bank that they make. Obviously I said yes. So this is, as I said, the Viivant Slim Power Bank. You probably can't see that, but it is a 5,000 milliamp hour power bank, and it is super slim and sleek and stylish and everything. Has two power plugs on it. One is a 1 amp, one is a 2 amp, but let's just go ahead and dive into it and see what it looks like. And we've got some interesting stuff to announce later. So there you go, it says Viivant. Some registration information on the back there. Here you have the user's manual if you don't know how to use a battery. Of course, you do have some specs in there as well. Here is the battery. As I did mention, it is very sleek, very stylish looking, very cold on the outside. It's kind of a cold metal feel to it, which I would assume that it is metal, at least around this section. The ends feel kind of plasticky, and they seem to be, but this seems to be metal, so that's nice. And if you can see it there on the back, it does say 5 volts at 2 amps input and 5 volts at 2 amp output, as well as 5 volts at 1 amp output. Excuse me, one says 5 volts at 2.1 amp output. Pretty close. And it does say all the same stuff down there on the front of the bottom as well. And what was probably the last thing in the package here, micro USB charging cable. The rest is just this nice foam packaging. And as far as the battery itself, like I said, it's very sturdy, very nice, very thin, not terribly heavy, gets the job done, feels kind of like a phone in the hand, really. And it does have this one button on here. Press that button, you see it lights up. 4 lights let you know it is fully charged, and then it has 25% increments all the way down to 0. Here on the end are your ports. This one is the 1 amp output. This is the 2.1 amp. 5 volt 2 amp input, and that's about all there is to it. So why don't we go ahead and take this thing for a little bit of a spin. We'll see how it does power wise. So here I have the 1+2 hooked up to my Legion meter. Go ahead and plug it into this 2.1 amp port, and you'll see there it says about 4.9 volts at about 1.6 amps. This I've plugged into other things, and I've seen it go as high as 2 amps when plugged into other chargers. So this one does seem to be reading a little bit low, and then we plug it into the 1 amp port, and it says again 4.8, 4.9 volts, and still 1.4, yeah, sticking around right at 1.4 amps this time, which means that obviously this is not locked to 1 amp. What most of these will do is if you have 2 things plugged in, it'll limit this one to 2.1 and that one to 1. So for example, if I were to plug something in to the 2.1 amp port, I've got the 1+1 here, got a little family portrait going on. You see well, it doesn't actually go down. You would think that it would, but it's not. So it's doing 1.4 amps out here. We don't know what it's doing on the other one. If I had to guess, it's probably pretty low because the 1+1 is pretty high charge right now. It's at about 95%. But if we switch these around, the 1+2 back on that port, it's also doing 1.3, 1.4 amps. So it is pretty consistent. Now I have tested this out a bunch of times, and the max that I've seen out of it, out of both ports combined, is about 2 amps at one time. Meaning I think one device was at about 1.2 and the other one was at 0.8. If I take the 1+2 out, you see it's doing about 1.4, 1.3 amps there right now. Jumps up to 1.6 there for a second. So this does seem to definitely get the job done. It's got 5,000 milliamp hours, so it should be good enough to get you through a charge or maybe a charge and a half on your phone, depending on your battery size. If you've got a smaller battery, maybe 2 to 3 charges. And Viivant was kind enough to send 2 of these out my way. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna carry these along with me when I go to London here in a few weeks. I'm gonna be at DroidCon. And if any of you guys are at DroidCon and you're subscribed to my channel, all you have to do, the first person that comes up to me and shows me their phone and says, I'm subscribed to your channel, and they can prove that they're subscribed, will get one of these. The second person, same thing, we'll get one of these. I've got some other things I'm gonna be giving away while I'm there, but these will definitely be the first 2. So thanks so much to Viivant for sending these out for review, and of course for the giveaway. Definitely a big fan of the way these feel, and they seem to charge decently well. So make sure to leave a thumbs up down below the video if you like this video. You can find a link to where you can pick these up over on Amazon in the video description. Subscribe to this channel to receive more videos when they become available, and if you're gonna be at DroidCon and you want a chance to get one of these. And I will see you again next time.